trapped within the confines of your own beliefs, of your own conscious limitations. Like, no matter what it is that you try to do, no matter how many habits, no matter how many routines that you set for yourself, you find yourself back in these patterns repeating themselves. And you wonder if this is how it's supposed to be. You wonder if there's any way out to actually break through, to have those transformational experiences that will allow you to step in and be the version of yourself that you have always wanted to be. If you want to truly shift your life, you have to shift your identity. And the best way to do that is through alter egos. Hi, I'm Cody, and I help people to activate their divine consciousness fire codes that will ignite their heart ablaze and open the door to limitless possibilities. What I'm going to be talking about today is the alter ego effect by Todd Herman. The alter ego effect is something that is a complete game changer if you want to shift who you are, who you're showing up as in any area of your life. Whether you want to be a better father, whether you want to be a more successful business owner, whether you want to just be more confident in your life, this is the best way to take yourself from where you currently are to this heroic self that you truly are. We are not this trapped version of ourselves. We are the true embodiments of divine consciousness. We're walking miracles. Our bodies are constantly shifting and changing and evolving to help us adapt and grow. And we are learning every single day something new, something about ourselves, something about life, something about each other. We're constantly evolving and expanding our consciousness. And as a result, most of us don't even realize that we aren't even showing up for ourselves in the way that we need to. Showing up for ourselves in the way that we deserve to. We aren't tapping into that true divine essence, that spark, that fire within us, that lights us up, that activates all those codes, that drives us to our greatest and highest vision. The only way for us to step into that is to activate the fire within us. And a way to bypass and shift your identity in the here and now is through the alter ego effect. Now let me explain a little bit what the alter ego effect is. This book that I want to reference is by Todd Herman. It's called The Alter Ego Effect. And I highly recommend it. It's an incredible book. It has been a complete game changer for me. And honestly, I haven't even incorporated half of what it teaches because it goes so in depth. This guy was one of the first coaches in the high performance industry to truly step in and create that market. Todd Herman was actually the one that worked with Kobe Bryant to help him create the alter ego of the Black Mamba. And so let me explain it like this to make it simple. When you think of Superman, who is Superman's true identity? Is it Clark Kent? Or is it Superman? Some people might say that Clark Kent is his true identity. But you know that's not true. Because Superman is the true embodiment of who he is. But Clark Kent was created as a role to connect with people around him, to hide the identities of those that he wanted to protect as Superman. So Clark Kent is just a different version of Superman. But Superman is the true identity. And most of us are walking around thinking that we're Clark Kent when we're really Superman or Wonder Woman. We are truly magnificent beings, capable of anything. The problem is that we don't believe that it's possible. And those beliefs shackle us to these old lives, to these old paradigms that keep us stuck, repeating the same cycles, because we aren't truly understanding what it means to create change in our lives. And that change occurs at the identity level. So when you want to change your habits and your patterns and your beliefs, those are going to conform to the identity for which you see yourself as. So everything that you believe is going to align with who you truly see yourself as. Because your identity is the guiding stone for the actions that you take, for the thoughts that you think, for the way that you carry yourself and interact with the world. The way that we see ourselves shines through every relationship that we have, every dream and aspiration. Because if you don't believe that something is possible for you, then you won't be able to achieve it. There's a famous saying, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. I believe that's Confucius. Because what you believe begins to seep into every aspect and area of your life. And when it comes at an identity level, the identity is the core of who we are. And at the core, it's going to leak out into the other layers. These layers are the masks that we wear in the world, are the many different aspects of ourselves that we present. Now, the true core self doesn't even usually come out, even for us. At least, not naturally. Because of the way that the world is, we've often built so many walls of protection and so many layers that we have to peel back these layers before we can even start to get to the truth of who we are and see ourselves in a new light. The only way that we can shift our identity is to shift how we see ourselves. And you aren't going to do that by saying affirmations, by simply changing your beliefs. Because your beliefs will always fall in alignment with the identity that you truly embody, the identity that you see yourself as. Another aspect I want to touch on is the idea of domain. And I touched on this in my last video about the different healing modalities to heal yourself at a quantum level. Basically, the idea of domains is like domain and shielding is creating a layer of protection around you to block off energies from the outside world. Now, when we step into a new domain in the outside world, you step into a new building, you step into a new atmosphere, wherever it is that you're going. It could be amongst your friends. It could be in a public setting speaking to thousands of people. Whatever it may be, you're going to put on a different mask, you're going to play a different role in that setting in which you're stepping into, a different domain. So what you want to do is to create the different alter egos around the domains in which they can thrive to their fullest capacity. So if you want to show up as the best father that you can be, Todd Herman, one of his alter egos was Mr. Rogers, because he loved the way that he interacted with kids, the way that he would get down on one knee when he would speak with them so that he didn't feel like he was superior to them. And I thought that was really enlightening to see how you can embody these different energies and to connect with these different role models that you've had throughout your life, to be able to step into that in your own life. There's a lot of famous celebrities. Beyonce has Sasha Fierce. Eminem has Slim Shady. Kobe Bryant, of course, the Black Mamba I was talking about earlier. If you think about it, we all carry different alter egos anyway. Like, you show up in different environments differently. And that's why I'm so drawn to anime. I've really gotten into anime as an adult. I liked Dragon Ball Z as a kid and Pokemon and all that, but I went through my basically middle school, high school, and most 5 to 10 years into my adult life before I really got back into anime. I started watching Dragon Ball Z again, and I started discovering these new shows because for me, it was like I was really drawn to the aspect of the hero's journey. I was really drawn to these different personalities within the animes that I was watching, and I really enjoyed seeing their development as a character and seeing their own hero journey through the show and being able to relate to different aspects of it. It gave me a sense of something to relate to. You know, I had video games and I had things that I did connect to at the time when I first found this book, and I started creating these different types of identities. But I feel like ever since I've found and really delved into anime, it's been a missing piece for me, because it's helped me to truly step into these alter egos within myself. And right before I left for Egypt, I had this fire in me that I had not really felt in my life before, ever. And I noticed it was a natural thing that came. And I had wanted to develop that for so long. You know, like when you see somebody and something happens, they have a natural reaction towards that thing. For me, anger, I would basically completely shut down, because I was so terrified of the environment, the domain around me, you know, shifting and like in a negative way. I wanted everyone to be happy and like peaceful. So I became this, I tried to balance the energy of the room. I tried to be this mediator because I wanted to be so objective and I wanted to just everyone to be happy. I numbed this part of myself that had a natural reaction towards anger. And so right before I left for Egypt, I noticed whenever I would feel disrespected and I would feel like my values are being crossed, or, you know, somebody said something that like really penetrated, instead of just brushing it off and basically avoiding what I actually was feeling and like pushing it down and saying, no, I don't feel that, I started to just naturally like get like this fire just instantly ignited within me. Like there was something triggered that happened naturally. I didn't even have to think about it. In fact, I had to like pull myself back. And, you know, some people might struggle with the opposite, where it's like they get triggered over everything. Whereas throughout my life, I had trained myself to shut this part of myself down. And I realized that there was so much that I'd shut off that I couldn't feel into aspects of my life. I couldn't feel even in my relationship. There were like aspects with my girlfriend that I've been struggling to tap into, because where I shut those parts of me down as a child. Like I just tried to take this complete objective view, and as a kid, you know, you're full of emotion and energy, and it was like I just shut that part of me down. Like I was still playful, but I was more like I enjoyed video games, so like my focus was on that. So I didn't really like, I feel like I was always kind of thinking logically about the next step, even as a kid. Like there wasn't, like I felt like I was planning, like I had to have the next step, and I wasn't living in the moment. You know, I didn't really feel like I was really truly like a kid, you know. And so for me, anime was the bridge to create this alter ego for me to step into this hero's journey and to realize that even when you speak your truth and you stand in that fire, it definitely doesn't make you a bad person. In fact, it makes you who you are. It makes you a fuller version of yourself. If you cannot speak what you truly feel inside and speak from your heart and your soul, then you're watering down the medicine and the magic of your soul, of the essence of who you are. And that's what this book is truly all about, is tapping back into that medicine and that magic of yourself by shifting how you see yourself. You can shift yourself today just by changing how you see yourself and how you see your reality. It's not about trying to convince yourself of something that you're not. It's about shifting the version of yourself that you want to show up as, and using models as a way to do that, using other examples of people that you admire. You can even use animals. You can use different things that help you to step into that. And one of the things that he talks about using is using totems. So you could have something like a pair of glasses, or you could have a crystal, or you could have just, you know, like a bracelet or a necklace, you know, something that helps you to step into this state, especially if you use it it's best if you use it specifically for stepping into that alter ego. I used to have a pair of safety glasses that I would use, whenever I would do construction, and I would put those on, and as soon as I put those on, I would just feel all this energy of procrastination and uncertainty just go out of my body, and I would just be like, action, baby. And I would just have this, like, basically I put these on, my gears are going, I'm ready to figure stuff out, I'm ready to just jump in and dive in and just figure it out and do it, whatever I need to do, so I trained myself to whenever I put those on, to get in that mindset, because a lot of times, for me, I've struggled with just like procrastination, and it's like until I actually get into it and get into a flow state, it's very difficult. So I spend more energy dreading actually doing the thing instead of doing the thing and saving all of that mental energy of dread, just jumping in without even thinking about it. So I had to shift my mindset around how I showed up. I didn't want to spend the whole day just dragging my feet because I didn't want to be there. I had to shift my mindset because there are aspects, I did enjoy it, but it's like it pushed me in ways that oftentimes made me want to just like walk away. And if I wasn't working for somebody, or I didn't have that pressure to figure it out in the moment, then I would just give up and walk away. So I had to train myself to push past that, no matter what it took, to figure out whatever puzzles and whatever problems came my way. And by stepping into a new version of yourself, by shifting the version of yourself that you want to show up as, you're going to be able to step into different levels of consciousness, levels of flow state. Things will just start to click. You don't always want to show up as a high performer. For instance, you don't want to show up as a high performer whenever you go home to be with your family. You want to show up as a family man, someone that's going to be there with their family, spend time, be present, but also can really tackle the grind and really get things done. So it's about finding that balance within yourself. And totems are a great way to instantly step into that. I have glasses that I wear. I don't necessarily have an alter ego around them, but I feel like when I wear them, I do feel more inclined to want to learn and study. These are blue light glasses, so more so study on a computer because it blocks the blue light. But so by wearing, having different totems, and Todd Herman, he actually had a pair of glasses. He didn't even need glasses, but he would put them on whenever he needed to feel confident to step into different versions of himself whenever he needed help with like public speaking and things that he wasn't confident at the time. It's a really powerful shift in your mind. And lastly, before you go, I'm going to go ahead and just throw the 5 steps in there for you to create this in your own life. First one, decide why you want an alter ego and what area of your life that you want to shift. Number 2, list the qualities of your alter ego that you want to feel connected to. Number 3, create a detailed image of your alter ego. That could be using different animals, different people, just different embodies of the energy that you wish to step into for whatever area of your life that it is. Number 4, give your alter ego a background, the heroic origin story. Number 5, pick a name. Because when we name something, is when we really start to identify with that thing. And what we identify is often tied to the identity that we have. Number 6, find a totem that will allow you to step into this new alter ego. Think of it as a micro version of a full costume. So how Superman changes into blue and red with the S. Think about it like that. Like this is just you stepping into the embodiment of this new version. So this is you stepping into a different role, using this totem as a tool to be able to shift you instantly into this other alter ego of yourself. So the goal here is for us to get us back to the core version of ourselves. So what we want to do is to bring ourselves back to that core place. And we do that by peeling back these layers of identity, shifting how we perceive our lives. So if you want to step into a new version of yourself, to activate that fire within you, then I encourage you to book a call. Because I help people to activate those divine consciousness codes, to step into that fire, to shift the underlying identity for which they see themselves as, so that they can step into a new version of themselves. I know having a coach has truly helped me to shift my identity and how I show up, to help me embody a new version of myself, to reflect back to me what I want to be based off of how they are showing up in their lives and in their business and in their program, to help me to further align the highest version of myself, because that's ultimately what we all want. To align with our highest version and to give that medicine back to the world. It's been an honor being on this journey with you, my friend. Peace, love, namaste.